بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Mafatihul Hayat by Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli. As you know, we were talking about social engagements and interactions, and the first heading for us in this month of Ramadan was about how to interact with ulama, with scholars, and with learners, with seekers of knowledge. So we talked already about some aspects of this discussion. The next issue is about the reward for sitting with ulama. Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli quotes this hadith from Al-Amali by late Sheikh Saduq rahmatullah alayh, which is from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ما من مؤمن يقعد ساعة عند العالم إلا ناداه ربه عز وجل جلست إلى حبيبي. There is no believer who sits a sa'a means nowadays hour, but in the past meant a portion of time, for a while. There is no believer who sits for some time near an alim, scholar, unless Allah the Almighty would call him. Jalasta ila habibi. You have sat next to my beloved. Wa'izzati wa jalali. لأسكننك الجنة معه ولا أبالي. By my dignity and glory, I am going to let you settle in heaven with him, and I don't care about. Then it's not said about what. I don't care means I don't care about anything. I don't care about what people may think, may judge. It means that no matter what problems, what issues you may have, how much you may lack in different aspects, including knowledge, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would see that his servant, out of love for knowledge, out of love for truth, which is represented in knowledge, he is sitting next to a pious scholar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would let this love for alim be embodied in the hereafter as living together. So this is a very encouraging hadith that gives us hope and bishara. Of course, this doesn't mean that they would be equal in rank. It doesn't mean that every person who does this, no matter what the level of taqwa and commitment he or she has, would reach this point. This means that this by itself is a great way of improvement and upliftment. Everything being equal, this can raise you high and let you be with that alim. Although in heaven, to be together doesn't necessarily mean to be equal. Inshallah, there will be occasions that mu'mineen would meet the Prophet, the Imams. Maybe some of them would be there them with them more often, maybe some, always, but it doesn't mean that the rank is the same. As I say sometimes, my understanding is that in heaven you can be together with someone horizontally and also vertically. So if a person is with a great alim, or if an alim is with the prophet, yes, horizontally they are together, but this doesn't mean that vertically they are the same. It's like, for example, if I meet a great alim, suppose I was able to meet Muqaddas Ardebili, I was able to meet Bahrul Ulum, I was able to meet Allama Tabatabai Rahmatullah. If I meet them, okay, there is a kind of encounter horizontally, but do I meet them in their knowledge, in their closeness to Allah, in their taqwa? Do I meet them in the same way that, for example, a close friend or a close follower was able to meet them? No. So there are two levels of meeting and encountering. One is horizontal, one is vertical. In any case, this person would be put by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in heaven and would be able to be close to that alim that he sat with him in dunya. Then there is a heading about reward for attending majalisul ilm, gatherings and sessions of knowledge. When an useful knowledge is shared, is taught, is presented, is discussed, these are majalisul ilm. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told Abu Dhar, Ya Aba Dhar, or Aba Dhar, Al-Julusu, of course there are few things, then reaches this point. Al-Julusu sa'atan inda mudhakarat al-ilm ahabbu ila Allah min qiyam alf laylah yusalla fi kulli laylah alf raka'ah. To sit for a while, for an hour, or as I said, sa'at doesn't necessarily mean 60 minutes, but a portion of time. To sit for a while for a scientific discussion is more loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than standing for tahajjud in the night and saying 1,000 rak'ah for 1,000 nights. Do you see the difference? One of the best acts of worship after wajibat is Salatul Layl. Salatul Layl is very important. And many scholars have said without Salatul Layl, it's almost impossible to reach very high levels of spirituality and closeness to Allah. Salatul Layl is very important. But if it is a matter of Salatul Layl or a matter of clarifying some issues that you don't know or you don't understand properly, or to add to your knowledge, to sit with other mu'mineen who are seeking knowledge and learn, they are not the same. Of course, if an alim does Salatul Layl, if seekers of knowledge after or before their learning they do Salatul Layl, then that's great. That's marvelous. So, al-julusu sa'atan عند مذاكرة العلم أحب إلى الله من قيام ألف ليلة is better than Salatul Layl for 1000 night يصلى في كل ليلة 1000 ركعة, and in every night to say 1000 rak'ah. Then Rasulullah continued, يا أبا ذر والجلوس ساعة عند مذاكرة العلم خير لك من عبادة سنة صيام نهارها وقيام ليلها. O Abu Dhar, sitting for some while for scientific discussion is better for you than worshipping 1 year when you fast every day and you stand for tahajjud every night. Imagine, instead of fasting months of Ramadan, you fast all the year except 2 days which are haram. You fast all the days of the year, and every night you do tahajjud. It's great, but still it's not as great as sitting with sincerity, with openness of the heart and mind to discuss and learn. A person who was one of the Ansar, Ansar were people of Medina who welcomed immigrants from Mecca. They welcomed Muhajirun. So he went to Rasulullah. Please listen very carefully to this beautiful hadith. All these hadiths are really beautiful and can change our life. جاء رجل من الأنصار إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. One of the Ansar went to the Prophet. فقال يا رسول الله. He said, O Messenger of God, إذا حضرت جنازة أو حضر مجلس عالم. If two things happen at the same time, someone has died and there is funeral, we have to attend his funeral, to take him to the graveyard to say prayer over his body and bury him. But the other option is أو حضر مجلس عالم. It's the time that an alim has a majlis, has a gathering, he's teaching, he's speaking. أيهما أحب إليك أن أشهد. Which of them you prefer, you love more that I attend? Do you prefer that I attend Majlisul Ilm, Majlisul Alim, the gathering that an alim is teaching, or I attend the funeral? فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Rasulullah said, إن كان للجنازة من يتبعها ويدفنها فإن حضور مجلس العالم أفضل من حضور 1000 جنازة ومن عيادة 1000 مريض ومن قيام 1000 ليلة ومن صيام 1000 يوم ومن 1000 درهم يتصدق بها على المساكين ومن 1000 حجة سوى الفريضة ومن 1000 غزوة سوى الواجب تغزوها في سبيل الله بمالك ونفسك. Rasulullah said, if there are people who can take care of this janazah, because it's wajib kifai, we are all responsible to properly handle a dead body, washing, putting proper shrud, burying, salatul mayyit, all of them are wajib kifai. If there are people who can take care of this, and you don't have, personal obligation, then of course it is better to attend Majlis al-Alim. Rasulullah says, "In kana lil janazati man yatba'uha wa yadfunuha." If for that dead person's procession and funeral, there are people who can attend the funeral and who can bury that person, then attending the gathering of alim is better, but not just better than one funeral, better than attending 1,000 funeral and visiting 1,000 ill person. Inshallah, we'll talk about visiting ill people, and it's great act. And better than doing tahajjud 1,000 night and fasting 1,000 day and giving as sadaqah, as alms, 1,000 dirham for the sake of Allah to the poor people, and doing 1,000 hajj apart from hajj wajib, hajj mustahab, and 1,000 ghazwa, means 1,000 times attending a battle for the sake of defending Muslim, defending the oppressed people, defending your country. Fi sabilillah, it has to be with pure intention, sincere intention. If you do this with your money and with your life, so you attend the battle to defend, you also financially help. All of these things are not equal, let alone better, than attending Majlisul Alim. Why? Because if we learn Majlisul Alim, a godly scholar, a pious scholar, we get knowledge, we get direction. And if we lack knowledge and direction, then we may become like Khawarij. Khawarij didn't have any issue when it comes to actually worshipping. They used to worship a lot. The signs, the marks of ibadah on their forehead are very visible. There are people who recite Quran, who memorize Quran, who do lots of things, but they lack understanding. They lack proper direction. Or maybe today they are okay, but because they don't have knowledge, they don't have regular contact with ulama, a question comes and challenges them and destroys their faith. Or attack comes from shaitan, takes them into haram. So Islam puts great emphasis on educating ourselves, on learning, but learning from proper sources and from reliable people. The next heading is about characteristics of the scholars that are true scholars, godly scholars. Because it's not a matter of certain amount or level of knowledge or having certain certificates or publications. These are not enough. Maybe even an atheist can master Islamic theology or Christian theology. They can even master Islamic spirituality. They can teach, they can write about it. Maybe a person who has no taqwa can give lectures on taqwa. For us, it's not just a matter of information. For us, it's a matter of formation and then education. Information is a little part of formation and education. And who can form and educate? The person who has himself been transformed. If you don't take your knowledge seriously and don't act upon it, you cannot have great impact on others. Maybe by chance, maybe someone doesn't know who you are and would listen. There are people that Hadith says on the day of judgment, they regret a lot because they see there are people who have learned from them and acted upon them, and now they are in good position. They are going to heaven, for example, and they didn't act upon what they used to teach, what they used to preach, and now they are in a bad situation. Or for example, one of the people that people of hell would suffer from their bad smell are ulama who don't practice what they say, ulama who are not pious, who are not God-fearing. So it's not that every alim, of course you should not be suspicious, you should not listen to the rumors, but you must know that there are different types of scholars. There are godly, pious, enlightened scholars. And if you spend half of your life finding them, it's worth it. So let us see what are some of the characteristics of these ulama. I just mentioned the titles, and inshallah we discuss in the next session. One is having fear and khashya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is to deliver the message of Allah without fear. One is to be humble before the Quran. The other one is to be able to get engaged in whispering and praying and crying when they are alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is that they should be able to know themselves, to have ma'rifatun nafs, to know their time. And then we have a discussion, inshallah, about signs of those ulama, especially those jurists, those mujtahids that people should obey. And then we'll talk about what would be the punishment and bad consequences for humiliating ulama, disregarding ulama, attacking ulama. Inshallah, we will continue this discussion next session. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to equip our community, every single member of our community, with knowledge, with wisdom, with insight, with a balanced approach to the questions of life. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب